Let us answer this question. We've got four options to choose from. The question says, the last witness denied that she dashed the suspect before. The last witness denied that she dashed the suspect before. Option A, hadn't met. The last witness denied that she hadn't met the suspect before. B, had met. The last witness denied that she had met the suspect before. C, doesn't meet, and D, didn't meet. These are the options we're going to use. It's from these options we're going to be choosing their answer to fill in the blank. Now, when you have a question like this, the examiner is simply testing for aspect, your knowledge of aspect in the English language. Aspect. Now, what is aspect? The concept of aspect in the English language is the nature. You need to understand that. It is the nature or the state of actions performed in relation to time. In this case, whether the action is still ongoing, the time, present continuous, whether it's ongoing, whether it's completed, whether the action is repeated, or whether the action happened after another had happened. So that's basically what the concept of aspect is about in the English language. Right, so this is the concept we're going to be using to answer this question. Besides aspect, there are two other things I'm going to be explaining in this class, in this analysis, just so you can easily pass questions like this in the future. Right, the first thing to note is that we have two situations in this question. The first situation is that, one of the two situations is that one of the two actions is that there's a witness, right? There is somebody here, a woman or a lady. The witness denying something. The act of denial is one, and the second is meeting a suspect. Two things. Somebody denying something, and then the second is meeting someone, right? Now, from these two situations, the first that must have happened will be that the action of meeting, the action of this person meeting this person. Now, for you to deny something, it means something must have happened. For you to deny being gay, for you to deny being a thief, it means that you must have been accused of stealing. Do you understand? So, this accusation of this person meeting a suspect before should have been the first. So, in other words, this is the first action, the first. So, this is the first action. And then this is the second action. The action of denial, the act of denial is the second, right? So, first of all, meeting the suspect before is the first. And number two is denying meeting this person. Now, in the English language, when you have two actions that happened in the past, two actions that started and ended in the past, to talk about the first action, the first action that happened, you must use past perfect tense. Past perfect tense, PPT, past perfect tense. And the past perfect tense is recognized or is identified by the presence of HAD plus the main verb, right? Had. So how do you know a past perfect tense? How do you know? You must have the verb HAD before the V3 form of the verb, right? So I'm trying to say that when you have two actions that happened in the past, the first action that happened should be described using, or should be talked about using a past perfect tense, which is the past participle. Now, when talking about the second action, that happened out of the two, the second one, which is the latest, the latest action, then you use the past tense. For the first action, you use past participle, which is past perfect. And for the second, which is the latest one, you use, the past tense. An example of what I'm saying is this. Let's say I ate, for example. Look at this. I ate. Look at this example. I ate one. Dad arrived. Dad arrived. Now, these two actions happened in the past. Ate, arrived, right? Good. Now, if I want to join or link these two situations together through aspect, I want to join them together. If the action of eating started first, right, and ended before this second one started, now this first action should be talked about using past perfect tense. So it would be, I had eaten, right? Had eaten before dad came, or eaten before dad came. Remember, I did say that the first action, the first situation should be described, should be talked about using the past perfect tense, which is the PPT, while the second action, the second situation is described, is talked about using simply a past tense verb, because of course both happened in the past. But because one happened before another, the first that happened takes the PPT, which is the past perfect, while the second, which is the later action, is described using the past tense verb. So that's the first thing we need to understand when we have a question or a structure aspect like this, right? The last witness denied that she dodged the suspect before. I hope the first thing I said about the structure is understood, which is that you must understand, when you have, what happens when you have two actions being talked about, to have happened and ended in the past. That said, the third thing we're going to talk about to understand this question even better is the concept of words with hidden negative, or implied negative. Now, what does this mean? We have some words that naturally they contain or they carry a negative meaning. One of such words is the word deny. We have other words that are commonly used in exam situations, and one of them is deny. We have refuse. We have reject. We have prohibit. We have avoid. We have prohibit. We have avoid. So these are just some of the words with hidden negative that WAEC, NECO in JAMB examinations often test students on. So when you have this word deny, a word like this, it simply means this word naturally means not. Means that this person, the speaker, the witness here, is saying no. This word deny simply means no. If you deny your brother, it means you're saying you don't know your brother, right? So this word contains don't, right? But because it is past, it means didn't, right? It's like this person said, I didn't. I've never met this person before. So this word denied contains a natural hidden negative meaning inside of it. Are we clear with that? Remember the first thing that I talked about? We talked about the concept of aspect. And number two, I talked about the concept of two actions happening in the past. Starting and ended in the past, especially one starting and ended before another started. I did mention that the first one that started and ended before another should be talked about or should be described using the PPT, past perfect tense, while the later action, the second action, which is the latest one, should be talked about using simply the past tense. Now, let's come back to the question. Remember, we have two actions in here. The first action that must have happened in this situation should be that this witness, right, was alleged to have met this person before. That's the first action. And the second and the second situation will be that this witness is denying this allegation. This is one, and this is two. One should take PPT, which is the past perfect, while they simply should take past tense. Of course, you can say the past tense already, which is denied. Are we clear with that? Now, when you have words with implied negative or hidden negative meaning, your answer from the option should not contain any form of negative. Because this is negative already, right? This contains negative already. Your answer from the option should not contain negative. However, the first thing you must identify, or you should spot out from the option, should be the option with a PPT, past perfect tense. So let's check that out. Option D is didn't meet, right? Didn't meet. Remember, we're talking about the first action. The first action. This is the first action. Meeting the suspect before should be the first action. The first action should take PPT. So, and of course, didn't isn't a PPT. So this option is wrong, right? Now, doesn't meet, all of these actions, both actions happened in the past. So we can have doesn't meet. So these two should be eliminated automatically. Now we have option A, hadn't met, and option B, had met. Good. Now that means we have between A and B to choose from. And remember, I did say that when you have words with hidden negative being used in one of the expressions, right? Your answer should contain a positive had. Go for the option that is positive and not negative, because what you have here is negative already, right? So between hadn't met and had met, which is positive, which is negative, of course you know that hadn't met is negative and had met is positive. Now, what happens if you say the last witness denied that she hadn't met the suspect before? The last witness denied that she hadn't met the suspect before. Sounds somewhat naturally pleasant to the ear, but that is grammatically wrong. Why? To say that he denied, deny simply means did not, right? Did not or didn't. This is what you have here, right? Now, let's bring this here, hadn't. So if you're going for option A, which is hadn't, and then you have this being didn't, this is a case of double negative. And in the English language, double negative simply means positive. When you have two negatives being used simultaneously or side by side, the two negatives change to positive, right? So if you're saying the last witness denied that she hadn't met the suspect before, what this simply means is this witness is confessing to have met this person, to have met the suspect before. And that would actually be very incriminating, self-incriminating, right? So that is why this option A is actually very wrong. Denied, refused, rejected, avoided, prohibited. These are some other words with some common words with inbuilt or inherent negative meaning. So negative, then you have positive being their answer. I don't know. I've said a lot in this video already, and I just hope that you were able to put all of those things. You were able to grasp all of the things that I've said. The two actions started and completed in the past. The first action that started and ended, before the other, should take the PPT, which is the past participle, the past perfect tense with had. Now, the second situation that happened and also ended in the past should take the past tense form of the verb. And then when you have words with intrinsic or inherent negative meanings, your option from there, the correct option from their given options should be a positive one, which is why this option B is their answer. Thanks a lot for watching to the very end, and I just want to sincerely believe that you've learned something helpful in this class. If you have any question, kindly let me know in the comment. Remember to keep speaking right and keep learning right.